Taking a look at the interest rate markets today, the focus is on the 10-year note, and we're seeing a range-bound day. After last week's selling pressure in the 10-year note, we're seeing a pretty tight range today, and actually up slightly on the day. We saw it right around the 123.05 level, a high of 123.06 and a low of 122.31, so a very tight range there. When you look at the volatility in the marketplace, that we have seen some significant volatility in the bond markets. We've seen the 10-year under some selling pressure. The downtrend still looks like it's technically in place, but again, some moderation today. And it is interesting to see that when you look at today's range, really you have to go back to March 18th to see a range similar in nature. So it's been almost a month since we've seen this tight of range in the 10-year note. The data, I think, is going to be the focal point as we move through this holiday shortened trading week. Tomorrow we get industrial production and capacity utilization. I think those will be some big numbers for the bond market to digest, especially considering, what we saw last week in some of these news items coming out, where we did see the volatility in the 10-year pick up last week. So I think the focus will be on these two numbers as the Fed watches these numbers pretty closely. Also, Fed Beige Book, we get that on Wednesday, and I think that's another number moving into the week that should be focused on if you're looking at possible movers for the 10-year note. Looking at the trend right now, as I pointed out initially, we are still seeing that downtrend maintain after we saw a high in the 10-year just a couple weeks ago. We're seeing a pretty steady downtrend, and I think when you look at the technicals in the marketplace, I think I pointed this out last week, you look at that 122.31 level, 122.29 is where the 50-day moving average comes in, and we are seeing now the bond market, the 10-year, creeping into that space. And over the last couple of months, we've seen this 50-day moving average be a nice support level for the 10-year note. So we're trending back down to the low end of the range. It will be interesting to see if we can hold this lower end of the range that the market's been contending with, as we see, again, the 10-year note pushing back down towards that 50-day moving average.